But in terms of the Ballon d'Or, for me, Chuck, I don't know. Because as I'm saying, if I go back through history, is it the best player? Period. Is it the best player on the best team? Is it team accolades and whoever we can find from that team? And in a year where there is international competition, does that come down to it? 2006, Fabio Cannavaro won the World Cup with Italy and he won the Ballon d'Or, right? We have not had a player from the team that won the World Cup win the Ballon d'Or in that year, except for in 2022 when it was Lionel Messi. If you then want to say, okay, maybe the best player, period, Lionel Messi in his record-breaking season, he wins the Ballon d'Or. Yeah. But Barcelona neither won La Liga or won the Champions League. And so it goes, Chuck, where Bayern Munich win the treble. Does one of their players win the Ballon d'Or? No. Nope. Inter Milan win the treble. Do one of their players win the Ballon d'Or? No, that's not the case. It's either Messi or it's Ronaldo. So what are we picking? What is the criteria? What are we using to choose the Ballon d'Or winner? We don't actually know what it actually is, Chuck. It's opinion, right? The only thing we can know for certain in football, where we are giving individual awards, is the Golden Boot, because we're just counting there. Like whoever's got the most numbers, whoever's got the most goals, they win the award. But these other ones where you are judging performance, because literally, Chuck, as football fans, we see the debates all the time, right? You might look at one particular player and say, that guy's not that good or he's overhyped. I look at the same player and I say, that guy is it, right? Yeah. Every single, if you're on social media, every single day these debates break out on the timeline, and it's not even people saying, "Oh man, this one is slightly better than that one." They'll tell you, it's like, I don't see what this one gives. I don't see anything. That's the question. The question, for example, take Bruno for example. What does Bruno give you except for goals? That's one of the questions that you hear. Someone else might say, like, well, he's the catalyst for every good thing that happens with Manchester United. Cole Palmer is in that conversation right now. Like, is Cole Palmer the best player in the league, maybe in the world? Someone else looks at him and says, well, outside when he's scoring goals, like, what does he actually offer the team? So then when you are taking that base of information and you are awarding like individuals in terms of who's the best player in the world, I don't even know if the Ballon d'Or is the award for the best player in the world. We don't know. And as a result, for me, Chuck, like, throw all of it out the bathtub, throw out the water, throw out the baby. Like, just cancel Ballon d'Or and individual awards in football.
Yeah, those 8 Ballon d'Ors don't count. But that's what you're saying ultimately, right?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Actually, Chuck, they count. But for what, right? If you're asking me, is Messi the greatest like of all time? And then I quote like 8 Ballon d'Ors. That's not why he's the best for me of all time, right?
You said if the criteria was the best player, you'd have given it to him for the past 15 years of his reign when he was on top, right?
Every single year Messi was in his prime, my belief is that he was the best player in the world.
Whether he scored 10 goals or 50 goals, but you figured he was the best footballing player on the planet. But Jay, I wanna throw a little more, we're already in confusing waters, right, Jay? In basketball, I want to contrast this. In basketball, the finals MVP, is he better than the regular season MVP?
Yeah, because what you are looking at there, or what you're considering rather, is the fact that the stakes are higher. Right? Okay. So in the finals, we actually only really truly get to find out who the best player is in basketball when the playoffs start all the way through the finals, because the regular season is so long, and some guys they don't tank it, but they don't give as much effort. LeBron famously, like in his absolute prime with the Heat and with the Cavs, in the regular season he did not be as great as when you then saw him when the lights were brightest, and every single time he took one of those teams to a finals run, then you step back at the end of the season and thought, oh, LeBron is still the best player in the league, right? But then if you were just watching the regular season, you might have thought, maybe these other guys who are getting the MVP award they might have taken over basketball, until like the highest moment comes and you're like, wait, it's still that guy.
Okay. Interesting cut up of that thing. But the reason why I brought it up, Jay, right, is because World Cup is only a month. Euros is only a month versus a Champions League campaign versus a league campaign. So if a guy's shot for 8 games, you're like, that's the criteria, because I would have given you a good 8 games in a regular season. And so my question is the prestige of a World Cup, of Champions of a Euros that much greater than me grinding it out for months to win a Champions League, for months to win a league, where you're like, that 8 games was special. And so I question the weight of something like that.
Especially because, right, there's the player of the tournament in any given tournament.
Yeah. And then if for instance, in the longer span of time, where Foden edged out Rodri in terms of player of the season, that for me should tell you who had a better the better year in terms of the most accumulated minutes in a calendar year. That for me then should suggest that it's Foden. But because Rodri did it for Spain and he did it for City as well, then you're like, in two different competitions, he did well, so we give it to him. So yeah, it's still not clear, man. If it's all subjective and it's all an eye test, how do you compare? How do you get a better?
Hey, Chuck, let's leave it.